Observe the precise, uninterrupted flow of this system from above. Every single vehicle and pedestrian moves with exact clockwork predictability. You already know how to drive, but converting your foreign license to a Japanese one through the Gaimen Kirikae is not a test of your ability to physically operate a vehicle. Decades of experience on the road actually work against you here. Foreign drivers routinely fail the written exam because they attempt to apply general road intuition to a system built entirely on uncompromising legal logic. Consider a standard exam trap. If the posted road sign clearly allows a speed limit of 50 kilometers per hour, can a 50cc moped drive at 50 kilometers per hour? False. To pass, you have to discard your home country habits and construct a new mental model, one based on fixed velocity ceilings, exact geometric lane restrictions, and a strict right-of-way hierarchy. This definitive breakdown of those exam tropes is brought to you by GaimenGo.jp. You cannot guess your way through this test with common-sense safety suggestions. You must treat the Japanese road network as a formal logic puzzle. We start with velocity constraints. The exam relies on you knowing the default parameters when no physical speed limit signs are posted. For a standard passenger car, the baseline limit is 60 kilometers per hour on ordinary roads and 100 kilometers per hour on expressways. A heavy truck shares that 60 kilometer per hour limit on local streets, but on the expressway, its statutory ceiling is capped at 90. At these higher velocities, distance logic is equally strict. If you are driving 100 kilometers per hour on a dry expressway, the law requires you to maintain an exact following distance of about 100 meters. But the most frequent velocity-based trap on the exam involves the specific legal status of the under 50cc moped. Your intuition might group a moped with a standard motorcycle. The Japanese traffic code does not. It defines the moped as an entirely distinct kinematic class. By law, a moped under 50cc is bound to an absolute maximum velocity ceiling of 30 kilometers per hour. This restriction applies universally. Even if the general road signage explicitly permits 50 kilometers per hour, the moped's physical classification overrides the sign. Due to this severe speed restriction, mopeds under 50cc are strictly forbidden from entering expressways altogether. Vehicle classification in Japan dictates absolute physical speed caps, completely overriding general road signage. This uncompromising logic extends to the physical road surface itself, where lane markings function as strict geometric borders. The road uses a binary color coding system. Yellow functions as an absolute restriction. White indicates conditional permission. When you encounter a solid yellow center line, it means crossing that line for the purpose of overtaking is explicitly prohibited. This carries a vastly different legal weight than a solid white center line. A solid white line directs drivers to stay in their current lane, but it is not the exact same legal restriction as a yellow no passing line. You must check the exact marking carefully. The most permissive marking is the white broken line. Crossing a broken white line is generally allowed, provided you have confirmed it is safe to change lanes or overtake. The exam will test your understanding of these rules by presenting a complex hybrid marking, a parallel yellow and white line running down the middle of the road. In this hybrid scenario, read the line closest to your specific lane to determine your legal restriction. If the solid yellow line is on your side, the strict restriction applies. The white line next to it does not dilute the rule. These geometric rules also dictate parking. If a road lacks a designated sidewalk, a vehicle must be stopped or parked as close to the absolute left edge of the road as physically possible. You must view yellow lines as invisible statutory walls that completely remove your momentary discretion. Intersections are the most common site of exam failure. This is where your driving intuition will directly clash with a rigid right-of-way hierarchy. Start with the basic traffic light logic. A green light simply means proceed if safe. It is not a guarantee of absolute priority. Take the strict statutory rule for executing a left turn on a standard green light. The turning vehicle must halt. A green light never cancels the continuous statutory right-of-way granted to pedestrians and bicycles crossing your path. An equivalent priority rule restricts a vehicle executing a right turn on a green light. The right-turning driver must completely yield to all oncoming traffic traveling straight through the intersection or turning left. The exception here is the green arrow signal. This grants you permission to move exclusively in the indicated direction, even if the primary signal remains red. However, the true or false trap asks if a green arrow in a specific lane forces you to change into that lane immediately. It does not. Intersection logic culminates with the final and perhaps the most complex geometric rule for the 50cc moped. Instead of using a standard turn lane, a moped must execute a two-stage right turn. The rider travels straight across the intersection to the far left corner, pauses, rotates 90 degrees to face the new heading, and waits. This distinct geometric maneuver is legally required for mopeds in many intersections with 3 or more lanes, or when specific signage dictates it. Japanese intersection logic is not based on maximizing the flow of traffic. It exists to enforce a rigid hierarchy of vulnerability. To confidently pass the written exam, you need to lock these separate statutes into a single mental model. First, respect the rigid vehicle classifications, primarily the absolute 30 km/h cap for mopeds. Second, obey the absolute geometry of the road lines, where yellow indicates explicit, unyielding restriction. Third, submit to the unyielding hierarchy of pedestrian priority over your green light assumptions. By replacing your home country intuition with these 3 structural pillars, the seemingly pedantic true or false exam traps become highly predictable. To apply this logic successfully, you need resources and focused practice before your exam date. GaimenGo.jp provides comprehensive practice tests specifically designed to drill these logic traps and ensure you pass on your first attempt. Passing the Gaimen Kirikae is ultimately an exercise in mastering formal legal logic. Apply this rigorous framework, and you guarantee your success.